Welcome to UNCAGED, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we're speaking with Hannes Klöpper. Hey, Hannes, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm very excited to learn more about what you are doing at HelloBetter. Hannes is the CEO of HelloBetter. HelloBetter is a very interesting, I'd say, pioneering company in the digital therapeutics space for mental health, empowering people to change lives. But we're going to talk more deeply about the work that they've done in the mental health space and really delivering that via digital channels in quite a revolutionary way. So Hannes, excited to talk about that. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career today.
Sure. Thanks for having me. So I started out in the education space originally. Actually, I co-authored a book about the university in the 21st century with a former university president right out of college. And he came at it from the questions of what is it that universities should be teaching, if he's a philosopher of science, Yehuda Elkanah. And I came at it from the question, so how should they go about teaching it? And what the impact of digitalization could and should be in the context of higher education. And it was so on the back of that experience that I thought, okay, it's good to write about it, but it'd be even better to do something about it, that I then build a company in this space, that an education platform for higher education and professional development. We eventually sold that to Springer Nature. And it was during the time after, I exited from that company, that I became involved with the original founding team of HelloBetter, who spun the company out of a research project at the University of Lüneburg. And one thing came to another, and I decided to join the team, and we went out and raised funding. The rest is history.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit more on HelloBetter and what you and the team are working on there.
All right, sure. As I said, the company was originally founded in 2015 and emerged out of a research project that explored how you could translate cognitive behavioral therapy into a digital product. So they built these programs, essentially online courses, 6 to 8 weeks, that teach you how to change your life and deal with a mental health condition. So they found for one indication after another, depression, anxiety, insomnia, chronic pain, you name it, that this approach of first teaching people about their mental health condition, then providing them with strategies that would help them break out of these vicious cycles that kept them stuck. And thirdly, to implementing change in their everyday routine, by going through those steps to really lower their level of symptom severity and get better. And they did this or they investigated this approach in over 30 randomized controlled trials over a period of many years, and found these products to be similarly effective as cognitive behavioral therapy delivered face-to-face. And it was against the backdrop of those findings that they decided to found the company. And as I said, I later joined after they bootstrapped for a couple of years to really bring those products into the standard of care and scale the company.
That's excellent. And I know that the topic and the topics that HelloBetter deals with every day have been first and foremost, certainly for the last couple of years, but broadly speaking, these have been topics that have been growing in importance, and I would say transparency, and maybe even, should I use the word openness? People seem to be talking more openly about mental health than ever before. But I'd be curious to kind of get a sense from you what you're seeing in the broader mental health landscape and the types of solutions that are coming to the fore and the priorities right now?
Yeah, I think the professional keyword here is destigmatization. It's become a lot more normal and to talk about mental health challenges, particularly in the light of the COVID-19 pandemic, and where I think a lot of people that don't normally struggle with their mental health did for the first time. And I think they suddenly became more attuned or more empathetic towards people that otherwise feel overwhelmed and struggle, because when you normally, I mean, we all have our routines that help us deal with stress and coping mechanisms that work for us, and suddenly we're all yanked out of our routines and the things that we usually do to feel better, go to the gym and meet up with friends and go dance, whatever it may be, suddenly weren't possible anymore. And a lot of people that usually have pretty effective ways to process their stressors suddenly didn't have them anymore, and suddenly felt like other people that are maybe a little more sensitive do even in normal times, so to speak. So I think in a way, in that sense, it really readjusted the conversation about mental health care, where a lot of people that otherwise, for whom this was more of maybe put negatively, a weakness, suddenly they saw like, hey, it can affect all of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things that I would say that if I were to outline mental health concerns from a corporate perspective, even as recently as like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, it was probably a no-no to talk about that openly, right? It was not a good thing. Whereas today, I don't see how you can operate a company successfully without having a very, I would say, progressive approach to these topics. I mean, certainly people are going through tumultuous amounts of change, and they are looking for new solutions, and they're looking for solutions that are matching up with their own lives, and their lives are more digital, which obviously leads perfectly to what HelloBetter is working on. I mean, coming out of the last couple of years, which was really kind of a turning point in society, for a lot of folks, are there certain things that you would say are insights or ways that you guys were approaching things that have impacted the way you deliver your solutions?
Maybe to just sort of take a step back here again and explain what it is that we do and how we do it. As I said, there's this three-step process, right, where you reflect the situation that you're in and the issues that you're facing. Then it's about learning strategies and understanding how to break out of vicious cycles, and then it's about implementing change in your everyday routine. That is delivered in a 6 to 8 week course experience, where it's essentially a self-help solution. We deliver content and provide sort of a step-by-step process. And then there's a fourth element that I didn't mention before, and that's the coaching component. So we have psychologists, real people, that engage with the patients throughout that journey, to check in with them and see that they are using the product in the right way, but also answer any questions that they may have, and also act as a bit of a cheerleader to kind of make sure that they stick with it and they stay engaged and complete the program. So that's but this coaching component is as delivered asynchronously in writing, so it's very scalable, and that means that also the solution in general is very scalable, because the core of the solution and also what delivers the effectiveness is the software component with the content, and this coaching kind of provides scaffolding for patient safety and engagement. And there, I think what is really new here is that this new treatment modality is proven to be effective, but it's also hyper scalable. So it could really be delivered to millions of people.
I completely see it. It makes complete sense to me. I would say that sometimes you'll hear critics talk about the last couple of years that, we've moved out of offices and we're connecting with people online and people are working at home. And they talk about that as the negative, that perhaps it has an impact in a negative way. But I would say that on one fundamental level, it's been a tremendous positive, right? That you somehow have perhaps not that connection of physically seeing people, but you have almost like an intimacy into their lives, right? That you're connected with them in this more direct digital way. That totally makes sense. That could be helpful, from a practitioner perspective.
Interestingly, I think we really need to move away from this dichotomous situation. There are always people who say, well, it's not the same. You need the personal interaction with a therapist, and many people do. This is not wrong, but right now it's kind of one or the other. Either you're in treatment and then you have to sit across from someone face to face and look them in the eye and tell them about your problems, or you're by yourself. And many people need help, but they don't want to talk to someone face to face. It's actually, we did, David, my co-founder, he did some research on this and asked people that in terms of their symptom severity, fulfill the criteria for a diagnosis of a mental health condition. Why is it that you don't seek help? And the number one reason was not, access, it's too expensive or it's not available where I live. The number one reason given was, I want to deal with my problems myself. And that's something that we empower people to do.
That's excellent. I really, really love that. So Hannes, we're in 2022 now. It seems like it perhaps is an important watershed year. I think perhaps before some of the early conflicts that we saw in Europe with things like the Ukraine, it seemed like a great year where we were stepping away from the pandemic, but now it's presented a whole new set of challenges.
Seems like every year is a watershed year these days.
Yeah, exactly. But tell me a little bit about what your hope is for 2022.
Well, first of all, peace. That's for sure. We are acutely aware of the situation in Ukraine. I follow it very closely. Whoever follows me on Twitter knows this. And it's probably quite literally closer to home than it might be for some people in the US. It's really only a country away, a 2-hour flight away. And we have a lot of refugees coming primarily into Poland, but also into Germany and there, Berlin. We actually hosted someone from Ukraine for a couple of weeks here in my apartment. Now she moved on, but it's something that we're acutely aware of. From a business perspective, talking about HelloBetter, what we hope for is really to integrate further into the standard of care by making more doctors, therapists, and patients aware of the existence of this new treatment modality, because that's really our main challenge right now. We're really in this market education phase where people don't know this exists. They don't even know that this is a solution. The problem is huge, right? It's clear there are many people that don't have access to care, that are really struggling because of COVID, because of the war, because of their everyday lives. And I just hope that more people find help and find out about the fact that they could get help relatively easily, with a low barrier to entry by trying out one of our products or any of the products of our competitors. It's really about establishing this treatment modality.
Yeah, I think it's certainly going to be one where we'll see more movement in the right direction, more people embracing it, more companies embracing these ideas, more individuals being more empowered. I'm hoping in general, digital health continues to grow. I know that we see in the US sometimes there's pushes against it by medical boards that don't want, they don't want to lose the old ways of doing things, but it's such an obvious improvement across the board. And it's something that truly supports the work that could be done face to face. So it exactly, I think, Hannes, what you said, change the dialogue, get away from kind of like this or that, but also kind of just see how they all fit together into a much better, broader solution.
I think in mental health care in particular, it's also about delivering the right intensity of care where it's needed, because we will never have face-to-face therapy for everyone at the scale it would be required to deliver care to everyone. So given that's the case, we then have to think about, aren't there people for whom these digital products really work, wouldn't it be better if those use those products so that the people for whom those don't work actually get access to someone face to face?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hannes, thank you so much for taking us through everything that's going on at HelloBetter. We've been speaking with Hannes Klöpper. He is the CEO of HelloBetter. It's a company that offers digital therapeutics for mental health. It's a company really improving the mental well-being for individuals across the world, a very progressive business, and hopefully rolling out and expanding and scaling a business model that can really support and help all of us with mental health needs. Hannes, thank you so much for being on UNCAGED today, and we look forward to having you back.
All right, thanks so much.
All right, cheers.